What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode number three of Ball Talk with Brickley. Um, we got a lot to get through today. We got the Final Four recaps. We got the National Championship recap. We're going to talk a little NBA because playoffs. I believe the last day of the regular season might be Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, and the playing games are Tuesday. I could be wrong on that. And then we're going to talk some MLB. So first up, we got the Final Four matchups. First one we got is Illinois UConn. So let me share my screen real quick. Illinois. All right, let's talk. Let's talk. This score indicates it was close. However, my opinion, this game was never as much as I want to say it was a 9 point game. It felt more like 15-ish around there. I mean, UConn, I feel just dominated as as a team, sharing the ball more. They got out rebounded, but with a team like Illinois, you're bound to get out rebounded. So let's start with Illinois. Jake Davis, limited minutes, or played 17 minutes. Didn't play really great. I'm trying to highlight that the big players. Ivicic played a big role in this game. 16 points. Didn't shoot efficiently at all, but 16 and 7, stealing a block. Keaton Wagler did his thing. 20 point, 2 for 10 from three. Not what you want to see out of him. He grabbed 8 boards. Uh, Stojakovic didn't play as well as he should have. And Kylan Boswell really struggled from the field. So overall, from Illinois, honestly, not a great game. Uh, let's go to UConn. Arabin really struggled. Really struggled in this game. Didn't he got the win, but ultimately just struggled. Harris Reed played well. Another double double machine. Shot 50% from the field. Solo ball, low on 50% from the field at 13. Braylon Mullins had 15. Knocked down 4 big threes. That first half was huge. Kind of wasn't really a factor in the second half, but that first half was huge for him. Silas Demery didn't play good. They had 7, 9, and 7. Very filled the stat sheet. Very efficient game. Not efficient, but stat stuffer. Jin Ross played all right. They just rolled, knocked down 2 threes. Let's just look at the team from a whole, from a team standpoint. This game was ugly. I mean, 35% from the field to 34%, 35.5% from the field to 34% from the field. I mean, you're not gonna win a game if you UConn. You're not gonna win a game shooting 34% from the field and shooting 6 26 from three. You're just not. And that's the bottom line. UConn also didn't shoot great. Shot a little better from three though. 36% from three. But yeah, I think free throws played a huge part in this game. Honestly, a really huge part of this game. Considering UConn only made 22 shots, but they made 15 of the free throws. I mean, they're efficient from the line. Illinois, better than usual, but still 5 missed free throws. You know, yeah, but you only made 19 shots. Again, you're not going to win a game only making 19 shots and only making 6 3-pointers and shooting 26 of them. Illinois out rebounded UConn offensively and defensively. Offensively, not by much, but defensively by an 8 rebound margin. UConn spreads the ball around. They play team basketball. They play, you know, the hairband's running off screens, Mullins running off screens. These 7 assists from Demery, a lot of them were just off of, getting Braylon running off screens, getting solo ball running off screens. So props to Dan Hurley for best coach in college basketball, in my opinion, for coming out with a good game plan. Illinois, 6 blocks to UConn's one. I mean, It's been known Illinois is a big team. Illinois is a defensive grinded out team. So the fact that they had 6 blocks is really telling of their game. 6 steals from UConn to Illinois' two. I mean, you go to Braylon had two, Silas had two, Jane Ross had one, Caravan had one. I mean, their guards are just showing up. And on the Illinois side, Jake and Ivisic had one. Illinois did not get in the passing lanes a lot. Turnovers, that's the story of the game for UConn. 4 turnovers the entire game. That's insane. I mean, come on. The show here. Yeah, okay. So Ball had one, Silas had one, Jade Ross had one. This guy who doesn't really play had one. I don't know much about him. But 4 turnovers the entire game, again, is huge. That's something that is been known that Dan Hurley emphasizes in his game plans. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them easy points. Only 4 points off turnovers. You can only had 8 points off turnovers. So it's like this game, it was just a bunch of missed shots, but both teams really protected the basketball. Only 8 from Illinois. I mean, that's not bad for a team that, normally averages 16, 17 a game. That's a lie. I actually don't know how many they average a game. Quick side note. Illinois turnovers game. Where they get 17 from? They only average 9 a game. So actually, you know what? Never mind. Played around their average. But the fact that UConn was so good at protecting the basketball, that's huge. Points in the paint, pretty even. I mean, Illinois only really had one lead. I believe that was very early on in the game. But UConn just, once they went up, double digits, they just didn't look back. And I think that's the real story of this game. But props to both teams. Illinois, good on you for getting this far. Made it to the Final Four. It's nothing to be bad about. I mean, you had a great season. UConn, great win here. But not going on to the national championship. Let's look at the second one, which was the biggest shocker of the entire tournament. This was a dog walk. I mean, 18-point game. It was a rout, a blowout. I believe it was 30 at one point. Um, for Michigan, Yaxel, he was playing with an ankle injury. Still knocked down three threes, 11 points. So good on him for playing through injury. Morris Johnson Jr. had 10 and 7. Adai Mara with, I believe, the best game of his of the season. Point-wise, at least. He had a 24-point game against Ohio State. Yeah, I mean, 26. This was his best game of the year overall by far. I mean, 26 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks. What a game from him. Shooting 11 for 16. Arizona had no match for him. I mean, they had Krivas on him, and it was just easy work for a guy who's 7'3", 7'4". Krivas is not tiny either. I believe he's 7'2", and Adaimara just makes him look like a baby. So props to Adaimara. I mean, he played a great game. Elliot Cadeau, man, 5 for 17 from the field isn't great, but then you really look at the game. We see if I can show it on here. Anyways, that's not the point. Uh, misses slash lobs. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is he. Okay, there we go. Maybe it's this. Let me slow this down really quick. So Elliot Cadeau gets the ball. He wants to run his play. And look at what he does. Look at what he does. So remember 517 from the field. The casual fan looks at it and they're like, that's not great. But look at what he's doing. He's laying it up off the backboard for Daimara. And that's what a lot of people failed to see, or a lot of people saw after the game, as well as myself. Shout out Ryan Hammer. He's the one who I noticed it, who I got this from. Um, Elliot Cadeau was just driving, and when they noticed a guy like Krivas, who's 7'2", kind of matches up well with Adai's size, they would rather Cadeau throw kind of a lob off the glass. And I think that's a really big testament to Dusty May's game plan going into this game. Dusty May took that FAU team as a 9 seed to the Final Four. Really, Michigan really routed everybody up until the national championship game, which that was close. But they have so much size. Big credit to, you know, Dusty May's game plan. Yeah, Elliot Cadeau, 13 points, 10 assists. Honestly, really like if you want to, he probably could have had like 15 to 7, if you want to count those, like 15 to 17 assists. And I think that's just great. That's just great, selfless best. Trey McKenney was huge off the bench, 16 points, knocked down 4 threes. He played a huge factor in this game. But props to Michigan for an absolute wallop of a team that a majority of the country had as the best team. Over to Arizona, Braden Burries just completely collapsed in a game where he just couldn't. 4 for 16 from the field, 2 for 10 from three, from a guy who's gonna be a lottery pick. He's still gonna be a lottery pick, but man, what a time to just disappear. Jaden Bradley was efficient. Awaka was efficient. Delarso was not. Everyone else, Koa Pete didn't have a great game. He had a double double, but he shot 33% from the field. Team wise, Michigan shot 48% from the field. Again, could be a little higher with the whole Cadeau thing. Michigan or Arizona just couldn't get it going. 37% from the field. Michigan 45% from three. 12 made knocked down 12 threes. Arizona 35%. Now couldn't convert free throws. Michigan could. Rebounding was very similar. And look at the assist numbers. See, this is something that, you know, Arizona never really couldn't really get going just because of how big Michigan is and how good they are defensively as a team. And again, big props to Dusty May. I think he did a great job coaching this team up defensively. Blocks and steals. On on paper, Arizona had more stops than Michigan, just stops. But overall defense, the whole, I mean, Michigan held one of the best offenses in the country to 32 points at halftime. And I think that Arizona was just struggling with the size and the pressure and the backcourt pressure and the on-ball pressure with and the conditioning of Michigan, of how deep they are. And overall, I think that played a huge factor. Each team had 13 turnovers. Problem is, Arizona couldn't really convert off those turnovers, and Michigan converted heavily off those turnovers. Yeah, largest lead was 30. Big props to Michigan. They played a great game against Arizona. Now, national championship. Arizona versus UConn. Or Michigan versus UConn, sorry. Little Google celebration there. Didn't know that was a thing. Um, Very grinded out defensive game. Again, exactly how Michigan wanted to play this. 69-63. UConn had 29 points in the first half. And Michigan only had 33. Now, I'm not saying that there was like this big game where Michigan kids kept pulling away. Anytime they tried to pull away, UConn had an answer. Um, just go through a couple of highlighted players. Caravan. 17 points in his final game in a UConn uniform. It was his third national championship he's played in. He's got two natties. He's going for his third. Didn't get it. Double double, 17 and 11. Didn't shoot it very efficiently, but it seemed like down the stretch when they needed a big shot, Caravan was always involved in the offense, whether it was facilitating the offense or actually taking the shot. And then they went to the veteran. Harris Reed, another double double. Didn't shoot very efficiently, but this was the biggest guy he's faced all year. A guy in Dunbar who's listed at 7'3", but he's really probably like 7'4", shooting 33% from the field. Still grabbing boards. So big props to Terrace Reed. Really unfortunate though. These two teams have three of the last four national championships, and he has zero. So that's rough. Solo ball, man, only played 16 minutes, and I was watching this game, and once he got that third foul, I was curious to see if they would take him off the floor. They did for a little bit, for like 2 minutes, but they put him back in. And that's the risk you run for having such a high profile guy out there. You need the ball handling out there, like that solo ball brings. And the fact that he picked up his fourth with, I believe, like, I don't know if it was in the first half, at the end of the first half, if at the very beginning of the second half, but he was borderline unplayable until about like 4 to 5 minutes left in this game. And that played a huge role. Braylon Mullins, same thing with Braden Burries in the Final Four game for Arizona. In the biggest game of his life, he just came out and put up a stinker. 11 points. This is another guy who'll probably be a lottery pick, late lottery pick, but still lottery pick. Shot 4%, was not efficient at all. Towards the end, hit two big threes, keep him in the game. Again, one every time it seemed like Michigan was gonna run away with it, UConn responded. Um, yeah, it's pretty much all the guys I want to highlight there. Yaxel, and for Michigan, Yaxel didn't play a great game. Not very efficient. Had 13 points. Morez Johnson Jr. He he got their offense going. 12 and 10, big double double. He hasn't been a big part of their offense all season, but third lead scorer. Um, a guy who they really went to down low when like a Daimar was out. He was the guy playing like the big man minutes. And very early in the game, he was finding a lot of success against a UConn team who, outside of Terrace Reed, isn't really big. I mean, they're running a three-guard lineup. So props to Morez Johnson Jr. Daimar didn't have a great game. 8 points. He's usually the big disruptor, though. Like, anytime UConn wanted to try to drive, they just really couldn't because they're just scared of what Daimar was going to do down low. Elliot Cadeau, great game. 19 points. Shooting 5-11 from the field. 8 and 9 from the free throw line. Biased me says he's a free throw merchant. Unbiased me says he draws fouls and he's smart. So I'll leave it at that. He played big. Uh, Lamar Burnett knocked down four free throws. Trey McKinney he made 1 3 all game, and it was arguably the one that shut the door completely because they were down six. UConn was down six. I don't remember the play. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up. But I'll just like explain it. Um, UConn got a steal and solo ball went up for the layup. It was kind of contested, but a guy who's at that college level and a guy who's been here for a couple years now could make at this level, and he just smoked it, which was really unfortunate. Would have cut the lead to four with like a minute and a half left, with like a minute 45 left. Smokes it. Michigan goes down, kind of scramble mode, but Trey McKenna gathers it, pump fake sidestep, and he just knocks down his only three of the game. And that to me was the dagger. It was just too hard. UConn made it close because forced turnovers. Solo ball banked in the three. So props to Michigan. That's all I got to say. Props to Michigan. Wasn't who I was rooting for personally, but they were the, they were the better team. They were a more physical team. Let's look at some team stats. You're not going to win a game shooting. Again, same thing goes back to the Illinois UConn game. You're not going to win a game shooting 31% from the field. You're just not. 27% from three, putting up 33 threes. Half the shot attempts for threes, and you only make nine. It's just not a recipe for success. Michigan didn't shoot great from the field either. 38%. I mean, obviously it's better than 31%, but 38%. Took 13 less shots than UConn, but just couldn't. They just couldn't get anything going. UConn just couldn't get anything going, and Michigan made the same amount of shots as them. 215 from the three. Quite honestly, in 2025 and 2026 is atrocious. Only taking 15 threes is Michigan's play style, though. I'll give them. I will say that they're more of a big ball type of team, and a Murray, you got Murray down there, Mariah Johnson, uh, Yaxel Lendeborg's what 6'10", 6'11". Here's where the issues really were for me at least. Whereas the free throws discrepancy, 28 Michigan shot 28 free throws, made 25 of them. They converted on their free throws. The announcers were saying at the end of the game they made 20 straight. So props to them. They made their free throws. UConn missed shot 75%, but it's the sheer volume that was my issue. Some of the fouls that got Elliot Cadeau got, going back to my previous statement about freeing a free throw merchant, some of the free throws he got, like towards the start of the game, he got fouled on a three. It was just an obvious flaw. It was. It was terrible. I'll come out and say it was awful. But it's just the state of college. It's just the state of basketball. And I think that Michigan does a great job of getting to the line and converting. So props to them there. Rebounding. UConn out rebounded Michigan. Doubled their offensive rebounds. That's really why they got 13 more shot attempts because of these offensive rebounding numbers. Defensively, Michigan barely out rebounded them. Big stat. Points in the paint. Michigan 36 points in the paint. UConn 22. Again, that is how Michigan plays. That is how they will beat you every single time. These points in the paint. They got three guys above 6'10", just sitting down there. Yaxel doesn't really sit down there. He's more of a, you know, play as a guard more than he plays at the forward, but he can get up there and grab a board. And he can get up there and put it back up and drive to the lane like he does. He's 6'10", 6'11". Perez Johnson Jr. and Daimara, obviously, are their two bigger guys. But if you look at these largest leads, Michigan's largest lead was 11. And anytime they went up to like double digits like that 10, 11, it seems like UConn was always able to respond. And I think that's a testament to how well Dan Hurley has his team. When they go down, it's not just like, oh, it's over, or oh, like a lot of teams with these younger guys starting, like Solo Ball, Silas Demery, Brandon Mullins, they'll get discouraged, but not Dan Hurley coached his team like, hey, we were down 19 against Duke in the Elite Eight, and look what happened. So props to UConn. They played their hearts out. National champions was Michigan. So obviously props to them. They'll be back. They will. I believe Lendeborg's gone. I believe Ellie Cadeau has one more year. Adimar will be back. They have Brandon McCoy coming in, who's a big high school recruit. I don't know if Red Johnson Jr. has a year of eligibility left, but we'll see. I think they'll be back. All right, let's talk some NBA. We'll see if it's any different from when we last talked about it. Pistons have officially locked up the one seed, and Cade came back tonight for them, which is huge. 3 games remaining. They have the tiebreaker, so they clinched it. I'm very happy for Detroit basketball. I mean, Cade is just a great player. Donis Jenkins really stepped up when he was out with that collapsed lung. So I think that that kind of, rather than rushing it back and trying to be like, oh, we need to compete for the one seed, they trusted their next man up. And I think that shows a lot about who they are as a team. So props to the Pistons. Celtics is two seed. No, I didn't see this coming. I'm not going to say nobody thought it's coming because I don't know what people thought going into the season. But the general consensus on the Celtics was this was going to be a transition year for them. Maybe they'll make some noise down here at like a 6, 7, 8 seed. Nobody thought they would be like that. Nobody thought they'd be a two seed, which as of right now they are. Jaylen Brown, I think should be on the first team. I talked about this last week. I'll say it again. If I had a vote, he would have my vote, and that just shows a lot about who they are, about who Jaylen Brown is as a person, as a leader, and now they got Tatum back, coming back healthy. Those first like couple weeks it was a little iffy, but he dropped a triple double a couple days ago. They have a good center. They got Vucevic, they got Kada, they got Luka Garza, shout out Iowa, who I think should be getting more minutes. Let's just say that. But yeah, I think the Celtics are gonna make some noise. Knicks. I watched the Knicks game that last night because either last night or Monday. The Knicks were playing the Hawks. It was on Monday. It was Monday. And Jalen Brunson dropped 17 in the fourth quarter to lead the Knicks to a comeback win over the Hawks. Uh, a hot Hawks team, by the way. And if Jalen Brunson can play how I know he can, I think that the Knicks can make some noise in the playoffs. Obviously, they're the three seeds, so of course the 3 or 4 seed is where they're sitting at right now. And so I think that they have a chance to compete for a championship this year. Between Brunson, they need Cat to play how he was earlier in the season. Recently, he's been having a little games, but earlier in the season he was averaging like 22 and 12. They need that sort of production out of him. OG needs to do what he does. Needs to knock down threes, play some defense, get like 2, 3 steals. Josh Hart, Josh Hart's just a hustle guy. He always brings his energy, so I'm not worried about him. Mikal Bridges is who I'm really worried about. He's very inconsistent. Trade 6 first-round picks for him. Shout out Keys. Um, so I think he's a huge part of where the success is going to come from in the playoffs. The Cavs, Donovan Mitchell needs to get healthy, first and foremost. He's dealing with a. Let me check that out really quick, actually. I believe he's dealing with a. Oh, no, he's playing today. He's playing today. But I know he's been dealing with his ankle. He was out for a couple games. So as long as he stays healthy, James Harden, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, I believe, is on that team. I believe that's huge for their success. Max Strus off the bench. I'm sorry, DeAndre Hunter's not on this team anymore. Dennis Schroeder's what he stepped up big time for them when those two guys were out. He stepped up. So they have depth at the guard position. I'll say that between Sam Merrill, him, D. Mitch, Max Strus, James Harden, they can make some noise for sure. But the Cavs are known playoff chokers. They choked it to the Pacers last season, who were a team of destiny, I guess. So we'll see where they end up. Hawks are again hottest team of basketball. They lost on Monday night to that crazy Nick comeback, but barring that, they've been on a tear. Jalen Johnson should be all NBA. You got Nikhil Alexander Walker. I don't believe he was an all-star, but I believe he should have been because the year he's having, unbelievable. He's averaging like 22 points a game. He's a 6 point per game career point per game scorer, and he's averaging like 22 a game. He's been insane for them. A big part for them. Jock Landale needs to get healthy. Who else do they got? They got Dyson Daniels plays a huge role for them. CJ McCollum, who's been huge from Jonathan Kuminga, with who they got the deadline from Warriors. He's been huge for them. So I really like this Hawks team to make some noise in the playoffs if they can, because they're riding the hot streak right into the playoffs. 2 games up on the Sixers for the play-in. If they can avoid that with 3 games to go, that'd be huge. The Raptors, they just blew out the Heat the other night. That was a big one for them. This between 5 through 10 are separated by 4 games. Uh, that's huge. Between Scotty Barnes having a breakout year. You got Mamlashevsky's really having a good year. I'm trying to look back at my notes, see if I have anything else on the Raptors. Brandon Ingram's having a good year. Jakob Poeltl's having a good year. RJ Barrett, you know, Colin Murray Boyles, I believe he's a rookie, maybe a second year. Yeah, I believe he's a rookie, so he's played a huge role for them. So I like the Raptors. I just think the playoff inexperience is going to get to them if they play a team like the Knicks. If they, if the standings were to end today, if they played a team like the Knicks, I think the Knicks win 5 or 6. 76ers, shout out Dwight. He's a Sixers fan. So I think he's the biggest Joel Embiid fan I know. I don't, I don't know how to feel about the Sixers team. You obviously got Tyrese Maxey, you got Joel Embiid, 2 stars. Um, VJ Edgecombe as a rookie started hot, then he hit a little, you know, a, like a baseline. It was like, oh yeah, I started hot. Then he kind of flatted out. Then I was trying to started to pick it up back up a little bit. He's one of the more clutch rookies when it comes to, I want the ball in my hands. So I really like what he brings. You got Paul George coming back. Paul George has been playing extremely, extremely good basketball since he's come back from his suspension. So I don't know if that's because he's still on steroids. So a lot of people are saying, but Paul George is also a really big meme. So I don't know how to feel about that. The Heat, I don't think the Heat are going to make the playoffs. I think honestly, if the season ended today, the 7 seed, I think I'd pick the Magic, and the 8 seed, I'd go. Hornets would play the Sixers. I'd say give me the Hornets. Honestly, I don't. I like the way the Hornets are playing. LaMelo Ball, Khan's a sharpshooter, probably one of the best shooters in the league right now. Probably the top 3 shooter in the league right now. Um, Obviously you got Melo, you got Brendan Miller, you got Miles Bridges, you got Musa Diabate, Ryan Kalkbrenner's been playing huge minutes for them. So I think you know what the Hornets bring to the table is kind of like a youth movement, and they're kind of embracing that rather than just saying, "Oh, this is one more year of a rebuild." Because originally they were like down here a couple months ago, but they've been surging, just like the Hawks have been. So rather than embrace like oh, this is just a little fluke, let's go one more year, then really go in. They're trying to get these young guys more opportunities to be like, hey, we want to win, we want to make the playoffs this season, rather than they get a lottery pick, which could still happen. But nevertheless, I think what the Hornets coaching staff and what the Hornets ownership is doing is they could have easily tanked, but they met with the team and they're like, "Hey, we want to make the playoffs. Let's do it." And they've done a great job at that this season. So good for them. The Heat, not I don't really like the Heat. Between Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, they're having great years. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see a world where they beat any of these teams out. And I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about these teams. These teams all are tanking. It's so obvious. The NBA literally is voting in like a month and a half at the end of May on like rules. So we'll see how that goes. Western Conference. The Thunder. Need one more win tonight to play the Clippers. I think they'll probably get it. Clinch the one seed. Shay's having an MVP season. He's not my MVP, but he is the leader in the clubhouse. He's having like one of the most efficient 30-point per game seasons ever. I think the most. They're 34-6 at home. They're playing good basketball. Shea is on a 20-point streak. I believe about 150, 160 games right now. So he's elite. Their defense is best in the league. Their offense is probably, I think, like top three. So they're just an all-around team. I see no world where they don't at least make the conference finals, if not back to the finals again. Spurs playing very hot basketball. They just lost the other night to who they lose to the other night. They beat the Sixers the other night to get back on in the win column. I believe they lost. Yeah, they lost to the Nugget. Oh yes, that Nugget Spurs game was a classic. Jokic willed his team to victory. 48-13 from Jokic versus 34, 18, and 7 from Wemby with 5 blocks. I mean, this MVP race has 4 guys. I guess 3 guys now that Luka injured. Honestly, I don't think he's gonna win it. 3 guys on these coincidentally on these top 3 teams that should deserve it. You got Stefan Castle playing good defense in the backcourt with the Spurs. You got Wemby playing. They're playing the best basketball in the month of March, which is what you want to see. They're, I believe, 29-4, 29-3 since the start of February. So huge, absolutely huge for the Spurs. The Nuggets, Jokic is willing this team. I mean, the man, the man is a man possessed. He's averaging 28, 13, and 11 with a steal and a half and a block a game. And his conditioning is unreal. I mean, there's the guy who's kind of like a fat white guy, right? He is. He is a fat white guy. Yet he's playing 35, 40 minutes a game. And I think it's just a testament to how good his conditioning is post injury. He's heard all the critics because a lot of critics are saying post injury, oh, he's not the same. Oh, he's this, this, this. He's out of shape. He's not going to be the same player. He's not going to put up triple doubles. And he's just willing his team to victory. And you saw that against the Trailblazers the other night. They were down 15 going into the fourth. Jokic for the team. Jokic had 19 going into the fourth. He ended the game with 37 in an overtime win, I believe. So huge props to Jokic. That's if I had a vote, that's my MVP. They're on a 9-game win streak, playing their best basketball. The Lakers, they need to get healthy. Luka is going to attempt to play through his hamstring injury. He went back overseas to seek special medical treatment. They look lost without Luka and Austin Reeves. They played without all 3 of them. Without AR, Luka, and Braun last night. Looked terrible. Looked absolutely awful. Lost by about I think they lost by about 40 to the Thunder. So they need to get healthy. That's my one. I'm gonna do a one sentence take about the rest of these teams. Rockets, streaky. They're a very streaky team right now. They're on a 7-game win streak. If KD can keep playing as he's playing, watch out. This Lakers Rockets first round matchup. Oof. If I had to pick, I'd take the Rockets because I don't think Reeves will be back for this first round series, and Luka's gonna be playing through an injury. LeBron's kind of old. I'd pick the Rockets. Timberwolves. I like Timberwolves. Timberwolves are kind of locked into place right now. They're kind of locked into a 6 seed. Anthony Edwards is. I mean, this is where they were against when coincidentally they. Oh, this would be a great first round matchup. Now against Timberwolves. The last time this happened, it was an absolute classic. So between Anthony Edwards, you got Naz Reid down there, you got Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. That team defensively is great. And Anthony Edwards does enough offensively to lift this team up. I really like the Timberwolves Nuggets. I think that'd be a great series. Suns played the Rockets last night. Dylan Brooks started talking, and you don't talk trash to Katie. You just don't. because what'll happen is, let's see what happened in this game. Page dropped 24, and he absolutely broke Dylan Brooks' ankles. Dylan Brooks played terrible, by the way. So yeah, that tells me all I need to know about that. Clippers really turned the season around. I can see them making it out of the play-in. I can see them being a 17, honestly, if they end today. I can see them being a 17, having to play the Spurs. They really turned the season around. Kawhi should be getting, obviously, this MVP race is unbelievable, but I think he should be up there in the top seven-ish MVP votes. Trailblazers, I need them to make the playoffs. As a Bulls fan, I need them to make the playoffs so the pick can finally convey to us. I'm tired of not having the Trailblazers pick. Um, so I think the Trailblazers between Denny Avdia, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday, Tamani Kamara, Donovan Clingan. I mean, they have guys. So I think they can easily make it out of this plan. Warriors, Steph came back the other night, absolutely electric. Outside of Steph, though, I mean, Pods finally is have putting together some good games. Brandon Podziemski's finally putting together some good games. I think I don't honestly, I don't see a world where they get out of this plan. But I mean, hey, I'm all for it. I love me some Steph Curry. Um, the rest of these teams, nobody cares about besides Cooper Flag on the Mavericks, who's been going absolutely nuclear. So good for him. Really, good for him. Let's talk about MLB before we wrap up today's episode. Let me run through these standings really quick. AL East, Yankees are starting hot. Judge isn't playing great baseball at all, but their pitching is absolutely unreal. Between Fried, Rodon, I believe Schlittler is getting who pitched for them yesterday? Yeah, Schlittler's getting some run. The bullpen's been good. Yeah, I mean, I really like the Yankees. We're just gonna go through the leaders really quick and some other teams that I like. Guardians looked good against the Cubs. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm watching every single baseball game, every single leaders game. I'm not. But, between Jose Ramirez, Bo Naylor behind the plate, Stephen Kwan, Chase Water as a rookie's having great start to the season. So I think the Guardians will make some noise in the AL Central as they always do. Out west, the Rangers, uh, again, don't know much about them, but I know Corey Seager's been playing well. Playing well for them. They picked obviously Mackenzie Gore's over to the strikeouts. I don't know what guys. I don't know much about the American League. I'm gonna be completely honest. National League. All right. Braves. Cunha, obviously stud. Ozzy Albies been playing well. Austin Riley needs to pick it up. I know he's not having a good season because I have on my fantasy team. He's kind of sucked. The Braves always have good pitching. Not worried about them there. NL Central is weird. Cubs in last. My Cubs in last. Nobody expected that. We haven't been playing our best ball. Kate Horton, unfortunately, out for the year with Tommy John surgery. Oh, and I looked back at his pitching motion, and it wasn't that hard to see. It wasn't that hard to see why, he's getting, having this Tommy John surgery. He switches pitching motion. It's kind of like, I don't know, he's putting a lot of pressure on his elbow. So I can see why he was injured. The Reds are looking good, you know, between Matt McClain, Ellie's always good. Eugenio Suarez, that was their big signing. Their pitching's been solid. I don't. The Reds are gonna be interesting. Brewers are a half game back. They're playing good baseball. As much as I hate to admit, they're playing good baseball. The Dodgers, what everyone expect. What did everyone expect? Ohtani's, I think he's batting like 290. He's doing his thing. Cal Tucker's playing good. Like, look at this lineup is just unreal. And the guy, like, even this, like, these are all guys that like are well known guys and we've heard of. And it's just insane. There's going to be a lockout next season. The MLB's going. The MLB's going to have a shortened season next year. No doubt in my mind they will. Yeah, I think that's. I'm going to call an episode there. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bang! What an episode.